Esports did a great job over there on the left side. Ironfish, no ban, and then you also have Elsa Bloodstone. We didn't see a lot of her, so I'm not very concerned about that, but no Ironfish. Ironfish did a great job being an agitator, especially in that early point in the Grove. The hands, no more hands. No more hands coming through right here.
Oh, no, we got hands. Look, Daredevil coming out. Daredevil got hands that are rated E for everyone. That's plenty hands. Captain America, that's more hands.
Huh?
Blade.
Not hands, but
not hands, but still diabolical. But look at this. Look at the Ultron coming in off the top of Iron Man.
A lot of mobility. And I love mobility in a map like this. There's tall ceilings and a large space too, right? So I love people like Spider-Man. I love people like Ultron right here. I love people like the Human Torch as well. So great picks right here to make sure. I wonder if that Gambit might be in danger, right, too? But then you have Groot, and then you also have somebody like Doctor Strange to make sure Gambit isn't getting too called out there.
Okay, so remember in the first game with Aldine, I said this is like a composition that you would see like in a casual match?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, a little bit more method here. They're going with a flying composition. Granted, it's still the 2-2-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure it's still the 2-2-2.
2-2-2, yeah.
The only thing they're missing, like, again, flyer comp, sure, I understand it, but they're missing with the Ultron and Gambit combo. You have two...
DPS.
Both of them are supposed to be your third support pick.
Yeah.
You don't have any main healers.
No.
You need heals. You need a lot of them, clearly. As right now, Lion's Claw getting a lot of damage in early. You need to have a lot of heals to mitigate that.
And I understand you want to fly high and you want to make sure that you can have a lot of mobility. I talked about the high ceilings, but unfortunately, even though Lion's Claw doesn't have as much mobility, at least they have heals, right? And so I guess Gambit, you can make sure it's kind of a waste of a pick, but you can make sure to primarily like heal him. But again, he's not as mobile as everybody else too, and Ultron really does not have that much healing ability, that much at all. One of the lower ones of the support that you can have too. So we'll see what happens. I don't mind the Iron Man pick though. Right now, Lion's Claw still doing their thing. We do have Captain America getting hit at, but great job by the support. I tell you what, man, Lion's Claw really knows when to dive in and when to push back. They did a great job right there.
Well, again, you can predict that because that's how Ultron heals. Because they don't have a third support heal, all they have is Gambit and Ultron. The only way that Ultron can heal is if the team is bunched together. So you already know they're not going to be spreading out, and if they do, it's an easy pickoff. They're not going to have heals. But when they're bunched together, that's where you know when and where they're going to be, and then you can corral them for heavy damage. Blade coming in with a huge crowd, that's easy picks. Not to mention you're going to have Captain America constantly diving. Daredevil, with all of them bunched together, easy picks. And so far, they're able to get the first point and continue to move forward and get that forward spawn.
Zip Zap doing some damage right here. Really like it when a Gambit knows. Gambit knows when to pull back and when to push. Great job right there. Great assisting, great kills right here. You also have Doctor Strange making it strange on the other end. Lion's Claw holding it firm and really easy like Sunday morning when it comes to pushing the point right now. Convoy is going on strong without much resistance.
Again, they're checking all their corners here, and I like that they're going with that close range. This is what I was talking about different. From game number one, it was a lot of range, a lot of distance. Now we're closing the gap. We're getting up close and personal, a lot of melee. Speaking of, there's a melee occurring now. Big pick, being able to get an elimination early in the favor of Aldine as they look to clear sight. And now the Gambit laying on that extra damage as they're able to get yet another pick. Now going after the Captain America, trying to get the elimination and also getting the bonus heals on the Human Torch, as now Aldine are able to answer back in a major way and put a stop to the payload.
I think that closer spawn point really helped them out there, and also too, the Gambit was absolutely playing very cracked. Again, you still don't have the best healing kit that you would like to, but you do still have that damage output, and when you're right there next to spawn, but also to closer quarters, so those abilities, he talked about being more bunched up, it does allow that Ultron to allow to heal the rest of the team very easily, right? Blade doing some absolute damage right here, getting in the nitty-gritty. Great response to go ahead and knock out Doctor Strange. Can they get more?
And you see, that's another thing you have to take into consideration with Blade, is that Blade is they have anti-heal abilities. They can negate healing. They have anti-heals like Ana and Overwatch that we were discussing earlier. They have the anti-heal nade. If you're getting damaged by Blade, they can put they can put a halt to your heals. So when when you have, you know, a support core that isn't able to put out that much heals, any detriment to that is going to be catastrophic, and that's why Blade brings so much to the table.
Blade is trying to hold on for dear life, but again, we talked about the distance between spawn. They do have to cover a lot of difference. We're basically right on top of Aldine spawn point, right? So Aldine does have that advantage. I think once they pass this barrier point, I think it should be easier sailing for Lion's Claw. The question is, will Aldine let them get the chance? Right now, their comp all damage coming in strong right here in this current chokehold that we're seeing right here, current choke point that we're seeing right here. Really doing some great damage and really wrapping them up right here.
Yeah, that was a huge Eye of Agamotto coming from Aldine, although they did lose 2 in the transaction. They lost 2 of their flies. Captain America now going to be pushing the back line. Big push coming from Lion's Claw as they look to clear payload. Big knockout there. Big elimination onto the Star-Lord as Aldine still holding on to the point. They get the ult in. They take down the mag, and now only Cap remains.
Oh, what a great job right here. I am Groot. I am Legend. Groot coming through and doing a great job of grouping up the team and making sure to lock it down. We could be coming to the final push here. Well, absolutely. We have like 1 minute remaining. Maybe it could sneak into 2 depending on how clear the team right does. But we'll see if Lion's Claw comes in here at a much stronger front. They're going to need it, especially with the way that this Groot is holding it down. Claw and Dagger going ahead and trying to do some damage though.
Yeah, they need more damage. I think that's the key here. Not to mention, you're going to need a good hit scan in order to take out these flyers. Again, you want to talk about Punisher, now would be the time to bring in Punisher. Scarlet Witch, also a great addition because, again, you have the auto-aim. That's going to be the closest thing that you have to Moira, as they're able to come in and they get rid of the flyers early. They get rid of Iron Man, they chase them off, they get rid of the Human Torch, they get rid of Ultron, and now they're able to get the forward spawn. Great adaptation in order to change up the composition coming from Lion's Claw.
I love Scarlet Witch in close situations. She can do so much damage output, and especially too, if you have a lot of players bunched up too, watch out for her ult. She can do some damage. But now we have a much wider open standpoint right here. So maybe this goes back advantage for Aldine since they have that mobility. But we did see early on when there was a lot of open space that Lion's Claw was able to put their claw on the foot next to Aldine. So we'll see right here. Could go either way. Right now, Lion's Claw feeling themselves though. Groot though had a strong response. We'll see if Groot comes back again and does damage.
You want to hear a hot take?
Hot take right here.
Hot take. We'll call this like a mild, spicy take.
Okay. Spicy. I like spice.
If I was Lion's Claw, I would sub the Cap for a Venom right now. That's exactly what I would do. I would bring in the same amount of distraction, the same amount of dive, but with a little bit more damage stacked on it. Right now, as you can see, Lion's Claw still pushing the issue here. They were able to get 2 checkpoints, now moving on to the 3rd, looking for the 3rd and final point. And so far, honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Take everything that I say into consideration, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you're best at. If this is what Lion's Claw is best at, and it's getting them points, then by all means, keep it going.
No, because they are still pushing the payload very well, pushing the escort, I should say, very well. With a minute left to go, the convoy is moving on strong, and right now, we talked about that. More space doesn't end up working out for Aldine, probably because that Ultron, we talked about it. Lack of healing is a little bit harder for Gambit to go ahead and heal all those high flyers right here. Doing a great job of defeating right here. Cloak and Dagger holding down the fort. Great support right here. Close around the corner. Star-Lord. This could do some major damage to the Flyers. Let's see if they're accurate and exactly that. Great job by Star-Lord. Getting the kills. There's a double right there. Can we get a trip on the way? No good. But a great job right there from Star-Lord. Great use of the ult.
Star-Lord, again, is such a great DPS all around. You know, they're so versatile. They have the GTFO factor. They can get out of dodge. They can avoid the damage. And they also have the hit scan. That's what you need against Flyers. Not only is Star-Lord a hit scan, he is a flying hit scan. He is the epitome of an anti-flyer DPS. Great pickup, great composition, great heads-up awareness coming from Lion's Claw as they look to take yet another point here, but hold the phone. Here comes the Ultron ult from Aldine.
Yeah, I feel like there was not as much use as that. Obviously, you saw when the Star-Lord knew that they were getting into close damage range, when they're getting the ult range, they went ahead and they got the flank. They used the flank right there. Good job sussing it out right there from Iron Man. Iron Man wants more, though, trying to get after the Captain America. Goes ahead and gets a double of their own. Great response right here from Aldine. It's the last and final push right here. 0 seconds on the clock. Overtime here. Can they stand, or will they be able to get them off the map? I don't think they'll be able to get that 3rd point. Great job from Aldine making sure they don't get all 3.
they don't get all 3, but they might as well have. They were on the goal line.
99.999, right?
Yeah, they are on the goal line. So again, it's not really too much love lost, I think, for Lions Claw. Although I will say, great stop for Aldine. Great stop, because now if they get all 3, they get the dub. No questions asked.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Lions Claw, they were only short a couple of feet, and not to mention that wasn't. They already wasted so much time on the first 2.
Tick, tick, tock.
You know, they were able to get the first 2. So, I mean, like I said, it's great stop by Aldine, but if I was Lions Claw, I wouldn't be sweating it either.
They are going to have to push and push fast right here. So we'll see if they make much movement of the time that they have left. Obviously, some swapping out of picks. We're seeing our first look at Deadpool right here. I really like the versatility of Deadpool. As a tank, though, I feel like he's better as a DPS, better as a healer, but can still do some decent damage when it comes to his tank, especially for the ult. We'll see Deadpool with the mobility. Lions Claw really likes that outlook. Let's see if there are any other changes. We do see Lions Claw go with the Groot here. I do like a group versus group action, especially when you have somebody like Deadpool. A lot of mobility, but you do want to make sure you have a good shield to make sure that Deadpool doesn't end up getting a lot of damage done his way.
And again, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, tell me.
Well, I wouldn't go Groot v. Groot. Like, if I see another Groot on the other team, then I'm counterpicking. Like, I'm going to go against the Groot. And not to mention, you're looking at the side of Aldine. They're on offense, but they're bringing 2 big shield tanks to the party. And they're bringing the Ultron again and the Gambit, which I guess makes a little bit more sense when you're on the offensive side of the issue. However, I mean, it's just too, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I have my little bones to pick here and there, but at the end of the day, it's what happens on the pitch that matters.
It's what happens on the pitch, and maybe right? You'll see what happens. Obviously, is already making good headway. Doing a great job of getting the test scores up, so very good for them. All right, stand still right here. Deadpool coming in fast right here. I love the mobility of it. We're seeing less flyers, which is a great opportunity to get some downhill, down home, down on the ground kills right here. Gambit doing damage, but so far, Lions Claw doing a great job with the initial push. It looks like Aldine only has a couple legs left.
And you see, this is what I was talking about from Aldine when I said it's too many shields. Where's the push? Like, I get you're going to be blocking, eating up damage all the live long day. Where's the push? You have to move the convoy forward.
Yeah.
Where is the forward push? Who's going to do it? Is it going to be Groot? No, he's putting up Groot walls. Is it going to be Strange? No, he is literally a shield. That's what he's got. And who else is doing the push? Is it Namor? No, he's throwing spears from the back line. Where's the push? You're on offense. We need to see more offense coming from Aldine. Meanwhile, you're looking at the Lions Claw. They're locking it down.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is playing like he is on offense, right? Making sure to push him off point. Great job right here. Doing a good job getting fish into it. Pushing them off point. Doing a great job. Ball denial, we talked about the time, right? Time is not on Aldine's side. They're going to have to work smooth right there. Especially once we start getting to these checkpoints, these choke points. That's going to become that much harder to push right here. So I'm doing a great job, though, trying to get that momentum going their way and their factor.
Yeah, and they were able to call the ults in. Not to mention the ult economy very much in their favor for Aldine. They now have 4 ults at the ready, looking to take this first point. They are right around the corner. You can see the Namor now trying to lay down that extra damage as they are able to get a pick onto the Lions Claw side of things. They're able to get rid of the pesky Deadpool. Big Vanguard elimination now. They're going to have to rely on the respawn coming in, but still Aldine with 4 ults to work with as they look like they will secure that first forward spawn.
Yeah, I didn't like that from Lions Claw. It looked like they were going to go ahead and lose that checkpoint, and they decided to rush it instead of trying to play some patient way and keep them on the other side. You already gave them up. Now you're giving them a little bit more headway and a little bit more room to push the convoy even more. So not exactly really liking that strategy here. You don't want to rush it, especially when you know the fact that you have time on your side. All right, hold down the points and make sure you can get full team wipes instead of half pushing, getting half of your team there. No, be patient. Patient will make sure to lead you to victory.
All right, now I like this decision coming from Lions Claw. They took the Groot out. Like I said, I didn't like Groot v. Groot. To me, that was just too much of a tug of war going on there.
Right.
They swapped out for the big bad Baghdaddy. Of course, I'm talking about Magneto. They're bringing in Magneto. That is going to be a great pair with the Deadpool Vanguard. I think this is going to be the right move here, especially when you're trying to get rid of those Groot walls. They're bringing in a little bit more range. Mag can also deal damage to flyers as well. So again, a lot